Andre, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Now, you are in an industry that has been shedding jobs, and a lot of, in the run-up to your conference, there was, of course, a great deal of talk around what you were going to, that Congress was going to come up with insofar as it addresses the jobs bloodbath that has been happening in that sector. What have you come up with?
Well, Vuyo, I think it's a bit of a misstatement. Between our previous Congress and this Congress, there's been quite significant developments on the jobs front. There is no longer jobs bloodbath in our industry, and that's mainly through the great support that we've received from national government on this matter. What we are seeing in the industry at the moment is a stabilization of jobs and an industry that is significantly poised for growth going forward. So the debate at Congress on the jobs issue and the discussions and the reports focus on something different. It focuses on the future and the immediate future. So we hope within the next week, a few weeks or so, we will conclude tripartite discussions between us, government and business, on a new master plan for growth for the industry. So that's imminent, and probably an announcement is expected on conclusion on that matter in October.
Are you saying this industry hasn't lost jobs in the last while?
No, yeah, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the jobs bloodbath that we've seen in previous years is no longer the case in our industry. There has been stabilization, and that stabilization has come mainly through supply-side measure support from government and the initiatives on the Saving Jobs campaign that the union has launched. So we're beyond that debate now about worrying about the job losses in the tens of thousands in which it was in previous years. We're now looking confidently to the future, and as I'm saying, our industry is poised for jobs growth. And in that regard, we will conclude a macro agreement, a pact on the issue within the next few weeks.
What, though, gives you that confidence that you're poised for growth?
Well, all the indicators are there. In the main indicators, of course, what is the extent of job losses and factory closures? While there are still job losses and factory closures, those have significantly slowed down. So that's the first indication. We see a bigger determination at a political policy level for support for the industry. You know, when President Ramaphosa addressed our Congress, he made one important statement, and he said that whilst others are seeing our sector and our industry as a sunset industry, that is not the view of government, and that there is a determination because of the job multiplier effect that this industry has to grow this industry, and in fact that this industry has been identified as one of the priority growth sectors in government's macro-industrial policy plans. So we're fairly confident that we will have support at that level, and we see a new level of confidence arising amongst manufacturers themselves. And of course the union itself has always adopted the attitude that our industry can never be a sunset industry. So we're not latecomers to this new picture that has been painted. What has changed is a new determination in new revised industrial policy support for the industry.
Now, what did the Congress mandate you to put on the table when, of course, you enter into those conversations with government and business around that master plan you referred to?
Well, there's been a prior discussion prior to Congress at the Special National Executive Committee meeting of the Union on this matter. And it was not an easy discussion because there are complex choices that we have to make in the period ahead. For example, when you look at our industry and you contextualize it within a global scenario, there are rhythms of production that we need to take into account. The big sales period globally does not, for example, fit into the rhythm of our production cycle. You know, simply meaning one of the big decisions and discussions that we have to make is around the flexibility of working time and the time when the annual shutdown holidays take place, for example. Now, that's not an easy discussion to have with workers, but we go into that discussion with much confidence because it is not a normal situation with which we operate. The quid pro quos that we hope that we'll get out of that is the commitments that that the retailers have been asked in this whole discussion. They've been asked to make significant concessions to lift their local procurement policies and their local procurement to quite significant levels, for up to 65%. Now that in itself, if that is eventually agreed, we expect it will create tens of thousands of jobs, of new jobs in our industry, because widespread local capacity of production will have to be created for that. Up until now, one of the main problems with job growth in our industry has been that there is a complete lack of massive local procurement from retailers. It only ranges between 30 and 40%. And you can imagine jumping from that level to about 65%. It must probably double the workforce in our industry if that is eventually agreed to. So we look forward to that commitment.
Andre Kriel, thank you very much for your time this evening. He is SACTWU's General Secretary, on the back, of course, of a Congress they had in Durban, which took place over the past few days.